Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Planning, Research, and Program Evaluation. My chapter was Chapter 1, Evaluation's Basic Purpose, Uses, and Conceptual Distinctions. Let's get started. As a general overview, evaluation has various meanings in various circumstances. There are many purposes for evaluation, and evaluators may play many roles. In order to fully understand the value of evaluation, it must be defined in its specific contexts. Also, the different concepts and distinctions of evaluation must be understood. Educators have a responsibility to ensure proper evaluation is taking place within their scope and realm in order to afford each educational climate with its best chance at overall success. A few of the definitions or purpose statements include that the purpose of strategic planning is to determine major goals and strategies to create a desired future. The purpose of research is to systematically gather and interpret data to contribute knowledge and understanding, or often to build theory. And the purpose of program evaluation is to provide accurate and objective information for decision making and to make better judgments. The text then moves into speaking about informal versus formal evaluation. A quote I found important is that informal evaluation can result in faulty or wise judgment. They're characterized by an absence of breadth and depth because they lack systematic procedures and formally collected evidence. Informal observations are limited, but when carried out by knowledgeable, experienced, and fair individuals, they can be very useful and practical, whereas formal evaluation is more structured and focused, ensuring fair and equitable representation. As far as a brief description of evaluation, it is determining the worth or merit of whatever is being evaluated, or identifying, clarifying, and applying defensible criteria to determine an evaluation of that relationship to the criteria. One important role of an evaluator is to help the stakeholders articulate their criteria and to stimulate dialogue about them. And then, as you can see, there are inquiry and judgment methods in order to carry that out. A few of the other key terms included programs, policies, and products. Programs are obviously the ongoing planned intervention that seeks to achieve particular outcomes in response to some perceived educational, social, or commercial problem. A policy is a broader act of a public organization or branch of government, and then a product is any concrete entity that is the output of something. As far as defining stakeholders, there were quite a few areas in which stakeholders were defined, which you can read here in this slide. The text also mentioned different types of stakeholders, as mentioned on page 9. There are those who have authority over a program, those who have direct responsibility for the program, those who are intended beneficiaries of the program, and then those that are disadvantaged by the program. In considering all the scenarios for stakeholders, a few examples were used in the text. So school districts that implement remote instruction, superintendent could want to know what went well and what didn't. It's important to know what is learned to be better prepared for the next time. And then it's important to brainstorm specifically what stakeholders you would need to produce that evaluation. So we were kind of asked to select a program for a program evaluation. I did a mock one myself. We used the FACS SIS program to run all of our attendance and data monitoring items through that. The stakeholders for that evaluation program would be administration, teachers, students, and parents. The type of knowledge they have, all of those benefactors within my school use FACS SIS to track admissions, attendance, grading, homework, staffing, academics, transcripts, course scheduling, and just so many more items, community service hours, etc. How would we want to include those stakeholders in our evaluation? And I would say surveys. That's been our best mode at my school to really gain that information and to evaluate some of the programs that we have internally. So there were quite a few differences in evaluation and research that you're actually going to see in the next slide regarding the breakdown in one of the figures from the book. They're all listed here too. It's important to note that sometimes these differences can overlap. As you can see here, These are the differences in research and evaluation. I'm not going to read through all of these. You guys are fully capable of doing so yourself, but I'm going to move into kind of why this is important. So first of all, it's important to note that between planning, research, and evaluation, they're all used to inform some sort of group or program or different instrument. Some differences among them are the purpose. There's different purposes for all three of these. Agenda setting, generalizability of those results for all three items, maybe the intended use of said results. There are different standards used to judge adequacy, the knowledge and skills required to perform the work that backs up all three of those items, and then specifically for evaluators, they must establish personal working relationships with the clients in order to properly complete the evaluation. So there were many purposes of evaluations. A few of them are listed here. Some of my most favorite ones are just to improve the quality of decision making by policymakers, for organizational improvement, the impact that it can have on society. I loved what the book talked about regarding giving a voice to those that are not easily heard, and fostering that sense of deliberate democracy and just that intentionality, and then just this overall social betterment. The text also expounded on roles of professional evaluators. A few of them are listed here, and that is, for those individuals to be facilitators and collaborators, management consultants, organizational development specialists, and my personal favorite, the social change agents. It's really just to affect positive change and to be able to stimulate that dialogue among the different groups. Not only do professional evaluators have roles, there's also specific activities within those roles that the text explains. And there's just a few here, but they have to negotiate, they have to develop contracts, manage budgets, work with advisory panels, communicate frequently with stakeholders to make sure that they're seeking input and reporting accurate results, potentially meeting with the press and other representatives to report on progress and results. So there's quite a few activities that professional evaluators can find themselves needing to carry out throughout this process. The text also goes into 3 different types of uses and objects of evaluation. First, they talk about the use in education. I'm not going to go through all of these. That would take me a minute, so I'll let you guys read through these on your own, but I thought a lot of these were really impactful as you read through them. The next kind of example of evaluation use was for other public and nonprofit sectors. Some of these were something that I thought through as items that have directly affected me. I'm sure some of you, as you read through those, you also noticed that. And then also they talked about just general in business and in industry, a few of the uses and objects of just evaluation in general. The text also moved into some basic types of evaluation on page 20. They talked about formative versus summative. They talked about the different audiences within formative and summative. And then they also went into talking about the necessity of both, specifically when they went into the figure that delineates that overlapping of both those different types of evaluation. Again, here it kind of breaks it up a little bit more specifically, and then you guys can all read through that on your own time if you'd like. There were other evaluation studies that the book did touch on, including kind of some focus of questions regarding needs assessment or process, and then outcome. The text also went into internal and external advantages of evaluators and did the combination of roles as far as formative, summative, internal, external. I think one of the most important things to focus on is the importance of evaluation overall in accountability, decision-making, improving programs, achieving goals, finding interventions, empowering influence, and then improving ways of thinking. It's also important to note that evaluation does have limitations within reality, within politics, and then within considering evaluation as a series versus considering evaluation as a continuing system. And then, of course, I referenced our book, specifically Chapter 1. Thank you guys so much for staying with me through that. I know that was quite a lengthy presentation, but as most of you I'm sure have noticed, Chapter 1 was quite lengthy. I appreciate any feedback, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you all took away from this chapter as well. Take care.